Tom Petty once said that love is a long road, and for two sides that know each other very well by now, the road to nationals is an even longer one. And tonight starts a massive tilt to see who gets bragging rights and gains ground in College Hockey South Men's Division II. It's the Florida Atlantic Owls taking on the Florida Gators in this College Hockey South Division tally. Hi everybody, Devin Serra, live ringside from you here at Boca Ice Center, where the Gators traveled all the way from Gainesville to take on Florida in this three-game weekend set. If you remember, this team joined the Owls back in the season opening series, split one apiece. FAU won 6-0 on opening night, but Florida had a comeback performance from Baptist Health Iceplex in Game 2, winning that one 3-1. And since then, they are both 2 5-win teams. Florida Atlantic, though, comes in dropping 3 of their last 4, dating all the way back to Tampa, rather 4 of their last 5, getting swept by the Spartans in Tampa, and then a loss to Embry-Riddle in the Battle at the Beach. They did get a shutout win over Lynn University. Rocco Bruno had the 4th of his career. For FAU right now, though, they are still soul-searching for their exact identity with some new players on this roster. This game is going to be as important as ever. We're going to preview on the Florida side of things. Where are they at? Well, they're 5-2, 1-0 on this young season. They are 2-1-1 in division play. They had a crucial win and tie against Tampa, where they came back down by 5 goals in the third period to even it up at 6-6 score, won 7-6 in a thriller the night before. That was 2 weekends ago. And this FAU team, we mentioned the sweeps. They are needing to find a rhythm against a high-powered Florida team. And the reason they bring in is that Florida is a banged-up group right now. They have as many as 4 or 5 players scratched tonight due to illness and other related injuries. So we'll see what kind of lineup we get on the Gators. Expect Liam Lickeshwa, number 58, to have a big weekend. He has been huge in this early part of the year. Your Florida Atlantic Owls are 5-4, 1-0 on this season. They are 1-3-1 in conference play. The sweep to Tampa hurt, the loss to Florida even more. And the thing for them right now is finding their top scoring. Leon Biller, Jackson Neuendijk, and Jake Murphy, among others, have needed to get going. They had a struggling performance against Embry-Riddle in the Battle at the Beach. And in that series, they had some depth scoring with the likes of Shea Keating, Ronan Keenan, and others in Game 1. Not a lot of penalties in that game either, which was even more odd in the upset win for the Eagles of Embry-Riddle. Next game, of course, they took care of business with Christian Cuccia and Aiden Georgiano, some former M3 players that Christian Long is very high on this year. Putting those two together, you'll see them on the third line in this contest and expect them to try and get Brady Baser going with Jake Murphy. They need their top scorers to come through, but they are healthy, relatively speaking, and Rocco Bruno could just be finding his groove. The only other M2 game going on across the slate, Tampa takes on Fairfield up there in Connecticut. You can catch that game on the Fairfield Sports Network. And Empire versus College Hockey South game, if you remember that rivalry from the old AAU days. But for now, we have this M2 tilt, the first of 3 games this weekend. Coming up next, we'll drop the puck in 5 minutes' time. You're watching FAU in Florida, ready to duke it out on Owl TV. the score sheets? I just forgot about that. You're the fucking goat. Thank you. Anthem is over. Ceremonial puck drop on this Greek night complete. And we're ready to go for the finale of the regular season series between Florida and FAU. The Florida Gators turn back to Connor Lee in net, the junior out of Canton, Ohio. He's been their best netminder to start this young season. In the statistics we have, a 3.50 goals against average, .877 save percentage, and 2 wins to his name. In right is the savvy veteran Rocco Bruno. Got his 4th career shutout last weekend against Lynn University out of Springfield, Pennsylvania. It's been a rough go for Rocco in net. He had those losses to Tampa University as well as being in net, conceding 5 against Embry-Riddle. But he has been their best goaltender over the last 2 years, and they need him to get going along with the forward group. out there in the starting lines for both sides. And Florida's, they're turning back to Noah Horowitz in there, along with number 24, Jack Fortescue, brother of Will Fortescue, plays for Tampa D2. And their top lines, of course, with Liam Lekeshua, their top scorer as of late, joined alongside Michael Katz, Calabrese. We are ready to go from Boca Ice, and here we go in this 3-game weekend set. FAU needs the fast start in this contest. They have been blown out in some past games. Tampa had their way with them, getting one of the overtimes and then winning by 9 goals or more in game 1 and 3 of that series. This one flutters behind Connor Lee into the top of the netting. So a funky bounce goes his way as he scoops that up from where his water bottle usually sits. We'll give you the starting lines for FAU. It is their top unit with Leon Biller, their captain at left wing, Jackson Neuendijk, number 25, the transfer from NCAA Canisius, out there with Brady Bezier wearing number 8, and off the hop they score! Right on cue! The sophomore from Longhorn, in the first 28 seconds, gets FAU on the board. And did they ever need that kind of start with the kind of lack of production they've had from this top unit? Bezier with a massive goal off the face-off past Connor Lee. And for the first time in a long time, FAU has scored the first. Connor Lee gets crashed into, and a delayed penalty is coming up. Scary collision. Seemed like Stabile got off edge from right wing on, crashed into the young netminder. So that's going to draw some ire from the officiating crew. Jackson Neuendijk, actually number 25, is going. So already chaos in the first minute. We get the first goal by Bezier and then the penalty by Neuendijk. We're going to assume this could be for roughing on Connor Lee. So just as quickly as FAU got out to the hop here, they're going to have to kill off this penalty. They have taken a lot trending as of late, but against Embry-Riddle they had 0 power play chances, just 1 penalty kill on that entire contest. And for this group that has struggled with their depth, they have been great on the shorthanded tries by other teams. Here's Tommy Ziamba defending up top to the point. Long slot shot, never got through, went off Brendan Pine. Chased to the far corner by Oliverio. After the puck is Brody Sheets, 25, up for Keegan Lampinen. He'll play tag with his defenseman in Calabrese. Lampinen back, right wing for Sheets. Couldn't handle the low feed and tight. Oliverio broke that puck up. It squirted out to the front of the net, but kept to the outside is the Florida Gators, and flipped way out of play by Blaze Pepe, number 76. Some new numbers you may not recognize if you hadn't joined us for the Battle at the Beach a weekend ago. Powder Blues, FAU going from right to left in those red buckets. Powder blue sweaters and the navy pants, Florida in their classic navy, or not navy, but water blue color. The buckets and the white sweater with the teeth outlining the bottoms of them. Well, Fortescue, far side, pass, blocked down in front. Tommy Ziamba got in front of Rocco Bruno. Here's their captain, Noah Horowitz. Quarterback, a massive comeback against Tampa the other week. Down 6-1 in the third, they came back to tie it. Directing it, Fortescue from the right wing. Wanted to get it deeper for Lekeshua. Broken up by Oliverio. Back for Katz in the low slot. He'll get chased to the left wing by Pepe. Kept in the middle, Lekeshua ready for the back door. And Rocco never received it from Lekeshua. He mishandled that one-timer. Fortescue up at the point, swings it left side for Horowitz. Towards the net on Rocco Bruno, will fight it to the far corner. Lekeshua back for Fortescue. Power play is buzzing right now for Florida. 30 seconds to go in the first man advantage of the night. Horowitz, left wing side. McCoy skates around a defender. Has Fortescue ready for the shots, and Bruno says no. So a lot of movement. Every single Gator touched that puck in the power play, but their top unit will go off and be replaced for the final 18 seconds of this one. Florida head coached by Frank Pasquale in his third year at the helm. He led Florida to prominence with a national title in the Men's Division 3, or Men's Division 2 rather, 2 seasons ago, and moved this team up a level. They were AAU Division 1 and now back down to ACHA Men's Division 2. They're going to cycle back, 5 to go in the power play. This one is handled by Michael Terry, left side of the ice. Given back by Calabrese. Wanted to feed it deeper for, that was Penny in deep, and now that will be cleared out by the Owls on a stretch pass intended far down the ice. Racing after is Ronan Keenan, a transfer out of UNLV, ACHA Division 1. He'll fight through traffic, try and get this fed for Stabile to no cause. It goes off the far boards. Delayed penalty coming up here, and that will be called. And we have a too many men penalty on the Gators. So they are going to send one player off. I at least thought they were. Signal motion, 6 skaters. Well, I guess I stand corrected. They called that icing. You know what? I'm correcting myself because it was the linesman that had his arm up, not the official. That's why it was the icing. Linesman can't call penalties. So a fortunate icing, but a win on the face-off draw by the Gators allows them to flip it out to the neutral zone. This one's knocked down. Ronnie Kemley chases after it. He gets hounded by Daniel Tove. Smushed by Stabile to the corner boards. Jake Murphy help coming on the back end with Harshaw to clean it up. Murphy will direct this. Moved back to defense as they have been a healthy FAU team, perhaps the most healthy of the 3 Division II teams in College Hockey South this year. Murphy, nice dance around Horowitz, gets pressed to the boards by Zelmansky. This one on the red line from Moore. Arm was in the air and waved off as he just gained the red line. So the 1-0 start, the lone goal by Brady Bezier right off the face-off. A one-timer past Connor Lee, 28 seconds into this game is where we sit right now in a power play, most recently for a roughing on Jackson. It was a race back to the Gators zone, quickly out and after the puck. Here's Christian Cuccia wearing number 9 now. Long slap shot from the point, blocked in front and nearly a break. Racing after the opposite way, Brody Sheets had one man to beat and it was worked over by Finn Moore. But a whistle late and it's gonna be a slashing call on the Owls, Finn Moore. He might have prevented Brody Sheets from having a quality chance, but he pays the price. So the second power play and really as many minutes is gonna come here for Florida on the Finn Moore slash. Tough sign for FAU. They have not needed to help the other teams with their penalty woes. And of course, not a terrible battle at the beach tournament. They lost Embry-Riddle with just 1 given up. However, the penalty kill's been busy early this season. Jake Murphy dangles past McCoy. Has a lane in the back door. Fed for Neuendijk. Way out to play. It's Lee. The follow-up doesn't go. Connor Lee closes the legs and gets the whistle on Leon Biller. This goaltender is as athletic as you'll ever see. 2 wins on the year. Last year he had 15 games played and had a 6-8-0 record. He had the first start of the year against FAU, and that's his only blemish so far, is that the first game they had, stopped 21 of 27, but they lost 6-0 in that game. And Connor Lee has been a prominent piece to their 5-1-0 start. They come into this game with latest a win and tie over Tampa. Not too many games on the slate. They split with South Carolina. As it's fed deep to the zone, FAU tries to free the puck back to the blue line by Oliverio. They're going to say this one was tipped into the FAU bench. It'll keep the faceoff in the Owl zone with 1:02 to go in the man advantage for Florida. Fresh line changes go on. Michael Katz goes off the ice. And some of the scratches to note for Florida tonight. They're without Jackson Choi, Nicholas Ho, Owen Wavada, one of their best defensemen sophomore out of Cedar Knolls, New Jersey, along with what we thought was going to be Evan Edwards, who is out, the senior, number 74. Some illnesses, injuries on this Gator bunch despite their start. I asked Frank Pasquale what to expect, and he says, I have no idea what we're going to get. Group's a little short-staffed. They're going to be running with 3.5 lines tonight. Michael Terry gains the red line and dumps it in. They go in after. Ziemba catches it first. Pushed by Calabrese. That allows Brody Sheets to funnel it back to the top of the point. Right wing chance. Got funneled deep. Brendan Pine couldn't get after that loose puck. Lampinen stepping with it for Calabrese. Snapshot. Blocked down again by an owl. Out to glove it is Bruno, and he will, to the applause of the FAU faithful. A great crowd on hand tonight for Greek night. And you can see in our action camera following from our upper balcony position here at Boca Ice that the stands are filled all the way around the rink here. There's not much grandstand seating at this Boca Ice Center, but you can stand just about anywhere. And they sure did a good job promoting this one. Christina Staphaleris and Kim Casey lead this great operations staff. Aubrey Corcoran to my right, taking some great photos. A lot of photographers on hand. It's a big night and a big series. FAU trying to find their identity after a rocky last 5 games. They are 4. They have lost 4 of the last 5, dating back to the Tampa 3-game set. Michael Terry connects with Calabrese. 5 to go in the man advantage until Finn Moore is let out for the slash. Terry has it in his skates. Pressured now as coming out of the box is Moore. Seefeld back to 5-on-5, and the one-timers missed by Pine. All the way back is Calabrese. In hot pursuit after him. Rushes in Neuendijk, rather 27, Leon. Figuring him out. Murphy on side. Right wing, Keenan into the pads of Lee, and he'll drop it and cover on top of the puck. So they'll get the top line now out there, who I just accidentally mentioned, Neuendijk. That was David Ross, rather, who had the attempt towards the net. So Ross goes off. Trying to get another one off the face-off draw. Boy, Brady Bezier has been in a lot of spots like that. Multi-goal performances against this Florida team in their first game. And they won 6-0. He had the first 2 goals of the season, and then had a couple against Tampa and a comeback performance. They were able to get that game tied down 3 goals in game number 2 to overtime, where they eventually lost that one on a heartbreaking end. Brady Bezier, right wing side. That one snapped wide. Up at the point, Finn Moore directs the puck for Neuendijk. Sandwiched by 2 defenders, right wing side. Towards Lee, bouncing puck, loose in the low slot. Florida gets after, and they're going to race out of the zone. Horowitz takes it himself out of harm's way. Oliverio, the steady Eddie defenseman, will take it back in. Funneled backwards by Liam Denny. Has help defensively from Zelmansky, number 5 in white. Floats from the glass into Oliverio's skate. He'll hook and race back to enter. Right wing, sharp chance. Low pad stop by Connor Lee. Blowing a tire the other way. Lickishaw trying to get this forecheck going. He is as dangerous a player you'll see. A friend of mine from the College Hockey Mouth pod, Gavin Coker, told me Liam Lickishaw, 58, could be one of the greatest players to ever come through College Hockey South. The LaGrange, Illinois native, the sophomore. He was their team leader in points last year with 30, 9 goals, 21 assists, and he's one of the leading scorers this year with 9 points to our record in the young season. Of course, we're missing 2 games from teams not uploading their scores to the ACHA website. Just gives you an idea, though, of the amount of talent that's on this squad. And a lot of these guys were on this team that won that national title 2 seasons ago in M2 AAU. It's a different task, however, when you get to the ACHA level. Still without the first rankings of the season officially, we can expect one of these 2 sides to be in it, depending on the outcome of this series. Liam Lickishaw has it back. Funneled in the middle, low trip, down in tight. Backhanding try by a Gator, wouldn't go. Owls doing a great job blocking shots in front of the net, never allowing chances on Bruno so far. Oliverio off the back of a Gator. Calabrese has it. He'll funnel it for Fortescue. Number 24, the freshman, will connect a long stretch pass for Calabrese. 2-on-1 develops. Left side shot off the goalpost. Michael McCoy almost had as many as his third goal against the Owls in their many games. He had the go-ahead in their contest, game number 2 against FAU from Baptist Health Iceplex a number of weekends ago. As Jake Murphy gets after this puck at the slot, he will stay out as Florida is making fresh line changes. Pepe could have entered all alone. Brendan Pine stood him up and allows Pepe now to retreat back to his own zone. Georgiano on a miscommunication. Some quick movement by the Owls as they leave Murphy out there with some young players in Georgiano. Glove down at the line by Michael Terry. He'll dump it in on Bruno out to play it. Behind the goal, handled by Declan Catone. And he'll enter. Given to Stabile. Bouncing puck. Comes free to Stabile. Behind. Deep to the zone. 10 minutes gone in this first period. Floating puck into the hands of Connor Lee. And we've got some more Donnybrooks. The sticks are away. Gloves are nearly down. Pushing and shoving going on in front of that goaltender as Daniel Tove is taking exception to a couple of whacks. And now they'll force Tove to skate away. Nothing comes of it for now. There's a broken piece of equipment in the trapezoid area from a Florida Gator. They're going to take the knob of a stick away. And back to the bench for Frank Pasquale. And on the FAU side, Christian Long in his third season. Assistants Mark Renner, Josh Averstrom, last year's men's Division II AAU national champions. Had a rocky start to say the least. 5-4, 1-0 on the year. But they have been playing some very tough opponents. Think about that Tampa series. I know we've harped on it in this broadcast. They were blown out in 2 games, which was uncharacteristic for them. They had not had many losses at all in the last 5 years. And the most that they've had in a row, certainly since the pre-COVID years when they were an ACHA program originally in men's Division III. And then Pine slaps one towards Bruno. He's going to calmly glove this down as Ziemba closes in and pushes away Pine, freshman out of Parkland, Florida. And one of the compliments Pasquale gave their start, even though they're without some players and dealing with the injuries they are, their freshmen have been a pleasant surprise, to quote him. Brian Pine, Liam Denny, Mike Calabrese, Jack Fortescue, just to name a few, have been terrific and stepped up in some top minute spots. They were a big reason, some of those guys, especially this man, number 24 in white, for their comeback against Tampa on night 2 to tie it, and their 7-6 win in game 1 against the Spartans. Race for the puck, icing waved off. Getting after that one in a hard race was David Ross. Stolen by Fortescue, however. That allows Florida to come back the other way, rushing up ice. Michael Terry pushed away from the puck. Ronan Keenan in the second line get after the work. Leon Biller and Ronan Keenan onside. Tried a sharp angle try, went off of Horowitz's skate, bounced fortunately into Connor Lee, and that will cause us to do a draw with 8:41 to go in this first. Coming up later tonight, if you're just joining us, FAU M3 will take on Tampa M3, the number 3 team in the nation, with the first official rankings of this ACHA season here in early November. This Tampa group won the Battle Division in the tournament a weekend ago from Panthers Ice Den in Coral Springs, Florida. The first year an FAU team has not won the tournament. There's one from Baser, again off a face-off draw. Missed the left post that time. And the top line cycles in from the second line for FAU. Michael McCoy. Murphy pushed him to the far boards. Likashwa has it. Gators top scorer from a year ago with Michael Katz. Play tag. Calabrese gets deeper to the zone. Aggressive forecheck showing for Florida. They want to put it out in front for McCoy. It's broken up and handled by Neuendijk. He'll skate away from Likashwa. Got it turned over. Michael Katz on Bruno, and another puck rings the iron. Second one of this period, and in nearly the exact same spot as Michael McCoy 4 minutes into this game. Neuendijk over the Boca Ice logo. Skates away from defenders. Owls set up shop at the far wing. Behind the goal, pressed well by Cormac Terry, number 43. One-timer by Neuendijk, fought off by Lee. A centering feed for Baser as he collects the puck, but errant pass gets through, and the red line dump into Bruno allows Sheets to pressure, and his team a much-needed change. That was a dangerous look for the transfer out of Canisius. Neuendijk, son of Joe Neuendijk, 3-time Stanley Cup champion. Drop pass, Pepe, back deeper, backhand on Lee, and he saves that for another whistle. 7:05 to go in the first. It's been an action-packed one, to say the least. A ton of chances for FAU, and one of the compliments we can give this Owl group right now is their ability defensively to block shots in front of Rocco Bruno. They have come in with an emphasis to be physical, to sacrifice their bodies. It's as motivated a group as ever, I'm told, from their recent woes early in this season. Christian Cuccia, number 9, former M3 Player of the Year a season ago. Jake Murphy trying to dig the puck out against Brody Sheets. It comes free to Sheets. He wanted the wraparound on Bruno, came out to play it. Lampinen trying to stuff it home. The net is off its moorings and a crowd gathered. And Bruno really had to hug that right post. He seems to be all right. Got stretched out in an awkward position with Lampinen from the far post. Whacked away at that puck as many as 3 times, and Bruno will now kick his legs and say he's no worse for wear. Pepe and Christian Cuccia have a laugh about that, so they will do the draw to the left of Bruno. Pine wins the face-off draw. So Mansky at the point, lower for Brody Sheets. Sharp angle try, knocked down by Cuccia in the shooting lane. Getting after it, Stabile allows a racing Jake Murphy to collect from the blue line. The hybrid defenseman gives it for Cuccia. Calling back, right pad stopped by Lee. Georgiano gets after the third line. Some youngsters from the M3 squad a year ago. Shot from the point, that one's redirected wide by Michael McCoy. Rather Lampinen. Cuccia kept it on side. Racing deeper is Blaise Pepe. Off to the bench, and a much-needed change goes Cuccia along with Jake Murphy. Owls are able to hold the line for now with some new players out there. Shot towards the net, fought off by Lee again to the far wing, and cleared out of the zone by Lampinen. Allows a reset at neutral ice. Ziemba into the hands of Pine. Worked over the puck once by Keating. Help coming with a high stick play down if Gators touched again. Owls race back in towards the net from Ronan Keenan. Collecting that is the captain, Noah Horowitz. He gets them out of a lot of fires, and that one he tried to do there but lost his edge. Owls hemming the zone well. 5:15 to go in this first period. The only goal by Brady Baser, and Tove takes down Keegan Leahy way over the right circle. Calabrese dances around Bonnet, not before he's able to backhand it out of the zone, and we've got a late whistle for a hold, and this is going to send the Owls to the penalty kill for the 3rd time this period. Daniel Tove, it was a rough, it was a slash, and now a hold. And this Florida group, which has had a really solid looking power play, had it not been for all of the blocked shots by Owl defensemen, this would have easily been a 1-1 game, and not to mention some help from the Red Iron. Gators have hit the post twice in this period from Michael McCoy and then Katz. Fortescue has it for Calabrese. Left wing side, McCoy wanted to set up a shot, overplayed the puck. Neuendijk chased from the point. Fortescue gets it through some quick movement. Deeper to the end boards. Oliverio wanted to stop the motion from Likishwa. Got it free anyway. Katz thought about it. Takes one towards on net. Softly, Ziemba blocked it. Likishwa cycles low to high. Back to Calabrese. Right wing, Fortescue, pressured and knocked over by Leon Biller, the captain. Michael McCoy back for Calabrese, snapshot, Bruno stops that puck. Some great movement by Florida, but for the most part kept to the outside by this top penalty kill group. Nieuwendyk, Ziemba, and how about that hit that Leon Biller laid out, the captain and junior out of Gothenburg, Sweden. Played a crucial role in their national championship run. 8 points over 6 games at Nationals in Jacksonville, where this Florida team calls home. They only have 5 home games all season because they play most of their time on the road. Lampinen, that shot was going to go wide, but Bruno gloved it anyway. Travels so much that most of their slate, if you want to look at 75% of it, is spent on the road all over the state of Florida. And for a team that is trying to bid for nationals, if they were to go, let's say to a regional, depending on what the rankings come out to, it would mean a little bit more travel, as Southeast Regional has historically been around the North Carolina region, as it's a mixture of some teams out of there, High Points, some ACC squads, and of course now the 3 College Hockey South teams. 45 to go in the third. Man advantage of this first period for Florida. Far wing chance. Brian Pine races over the blue line, sandwiched by David Ross and Declan Catone. Murphy fights for it. Sheets got it free. Goes hard to the net. Bruno emphatically puts his right pad down to glove it. And Sheets has been all over this forecheck so far, and Bruno has taken a number of whacks during the whistle, after the whistle. He's one tough customer, and I know it's been a rough go for him as of late. Did get the shutout against an M3 Lynn team that has struggled to start this young season. Just 3 wins for them. Shea Keating comes back out, number 24 in powder blue. One of 3 goal scorers for FAU in their 5-3 loss to Embry-Riddle in the battle at the beach. Keegan Lampinen, deeper for Sheets, went under his skate blade. Murphy wanted to backhand it out. Fortunate bounce. Goes off Catone. He's got a race for it. 1 man to beat, and Horowitz kept to the outside as the 8 seconds left in the holding call on Daniel Tove will expire. And 0 for 3 goes Florida on the man advantage. Great penalty kills. The last 2 especially for FAU. Tove will stay out there. Red line dump in by James Mazey, freshman out of Tampa, Florida. Gives it up at the red line. It was touched, would have been iced if that was dumped in by Shea Keating, so he elected to just let it float away. Henry Bonnet intercepts that puck. Mazey from the far red line dumps it in, and that is an icing because he was about a foot or 2 behind the red line. 2:32 left in the first. Devin Serra riding solo. Our producer, Mitch Liswith. The first of 5 games we'll cover here on Owl TV. It's going to be a busy weekend. All of these games you can catch at Boca Ice Center, at Boca Ice Center this weekend. That shot on Lee from the faceoff trickles in. We'll do it again to the left of him. And the most important thing for really both of these squads is that they keep these guys healthy. This has been a banged up Florida team. FAU at times has struggled with their depth, but they have gotten healthy. Just 2 scratches in the lineup for them tonight. Sean Vasiliev and Justin Harshaw. Tommy Ziemba fights for that at the end boards. Seafelt directs this for Ronan Keenan up right wing with a heap of speed. Fresh line changes going on for the Owls. Boxed out by 1 defender, the follow-up Lee. Right pad stop on what was a racing forward in Keating. David Ross dancing Fortescue to Bruno, and a nice stop for the junior netminder. Out to play that puck. And part of the story when you have a 3-game set like this is how do you get your lines in and out of the game. Both sides have elected to keep the shifts as short as possible, especially for their top lines. The depth is really going to come into play for FAU, especially Christian Long told me before the game, the biggest problem for them as a unit has not been their lack of ability to score, but the fact that they have not been able to roll 4 lines as succinctly as they'd like. They struggle with the puck possession time, especially in the games that they have lost over the last 5. Michael McCoy goes towards the net. Fanned on a shot. Oliverio would have blocked it anyway. Brady Bezier dancing around defenders. Good pressing hit by Oliverio. Biller. Tipped in left for Oliverio. Kept onside. Brady Bezier. For wing, they score! Jackson Nieuwendyk! Brady Bezier establishing the forecheck. And the transfer out of Dallas, Texas. His first of this contest. 1:15 to go in this first period. An excellent pass by Bezier right on the doorstep, and Nieuwendyk beats the junior netminder and Connor Lee. And that is a killer for Florida. They had 3 power plays in this first period, could not capitalize on any of them. Nieuwendyk funneled one towards goal, redirected by the stick of a white sweater, and Oliverio chases it back to the end boards. 55 to go in the period. Keegan Lampinen and Florida feeling the heat right now. What a start for the Owls. Christian Long's group. Keegan Lampinen, wide open net. Brody Sheets couldn't do it. A turnaround try by Brendan Pine. Fought off with the stick of Bruno. Pine intercepts the puck one more time. Quick movement in front of the net and knocked free. Some excellent defending by Finn Moore to prevent that follow-up chance. And Leon Biller enters a 26 snapshot, goes high of the crossbar. From the end board, stolen. Jake Murphy caught a piece of Connor Lee and the post. Florida has to break it back out. And with 10 seconds to go, Owls holding on. An entertaining first period. Brady Bezier, a goal and an assist. And now Jackson Nieuwendyk with 1:15 left gets the Owls 2. The start, just what the doctor ordered for FAU, and they'll go to the break with that 2-goal advantage. We'll rejoin you in 15 minutes time. You're watching an M2 College Hockey South matchup, Florida and FAU on Owl TV. Second period awaits. Florida Atlantic a 2-0 lead after the opening goal 28 seconds in from Brady Bezier off the face-off draw. He followed it up with a great feed, left wing side with 1:15 to go in the first frame to Jackson Neuendijk, the transfer from NCAA Division I Canisius, Dallas, Texas product. 2-0 start. FAU killed off all 3 Florida power plays in that first period, and they were spread out. The biggest reason why, they were blocking shots in front of Rocco Bruno, kept Florida to the outside. They did a great job so far of shutting down number 58 on your screen in white, Liam Lickeschois. Their alternate captain has been on fire to start this young season out of LaGrange, Illinois. And that's the biggest reason that Florida right now, who's reigned the iron twice, does not have a goal yet in this contest, although they are looming. And Lickeschois trying to get after the puck first. He's boxed out by Jake Murphy deep to the defending zone. Now we'll switch sides, go from left to right in those powder blues. Lickeschois, return, feed deep for McCoy. One-timer, Lickeschois, send it wide of the left post. Half-board chance. It's been a quick start to this game, to say the least. Lickeschois wanted to feed it out in front. Nobody there except for Jackson Neuendijk. Turned it over. Michael McCoy, slap chance. Fought off with the left pad of Bruno. Another low pad stop and a race. 2-on-1 for the Owls. Neuendijk for Bezier. Back to Neuendijk. Scores! Neuendijk's got 2. 3-0 FAU. Wow! A rush the other way, and Bezier has 3 points in this game, a goal and 2 assists. How about that rush? That all started from the deep end boards. Florida's Michael McCoy from a pad stop by Bruno. They got all of their forwards deep and just had one man back. You can't defend the 2-on-1 left for Connor Lee. Bouncing puck in a low slot, fought off by the defense as Lampinen gets after that puck. What a start for this Owl team against the best team in College Hockey South Division II to this point. Michael Terry, stretch for Brian Pine, connects in the middle to the net. Lampinen scores! Picked up his own rebound on Bruno. And within a minute, Florida strikes back. And that will silence the Owl crowd, which was buzzing to start this game. And boy, I better calm down because we could be in for a lot here at the pace we're going at. That's a goal for the junior out of Tampa. Florida was a national champion on that M2 squad 2 years ago. And to my record, that's his 3rd goal of the season, roughly. Still without 2 games officially on our scoring metrics for Florida. However, all that matters is it's a goal on the board, but Florida Atlantic leads this 3-1. Henry Bonnet skates wide, wanted to feed Seefeld. He was knocked away by the goal scorer in Lampinen as Brody Sheets gets onside. Cuts to the middle. Knocked down by the skate blade of Tommy Ziemba getting in the way. Turn around, up but not out by David Ross. Ziemba again negates that puck from the passing lane, and that allows Ronan Keenan to break it out. Onside, Seefeld, backhanded for Ross in the far wing. Out front, nobody home except for Zarek Zelmansky. Jake Murphy, intercepted, rang the iron! Jake Murphy, the top scorer, not named Brady Bezier this young season, and 22 in powder blue. Almost got on the board. That would have been a killer for Florida. They're still on the attack, however. Dropped it off. Shea Keating sent a puck wide of the blue crease. And with a line change by Ziemba, that forced all the way out to the opposite red line. Declan Catone, he's helped out by 13 in Stabile. The forwarding pass for Shea Keating. Gets around one defender. Keating, backhanded for Stabile, went through his stick. A fight ensues by Liam Denny. Catone misses that puck as James Mazie races after with Keegan Leahy. He'll press a man to the boards, far wing. Daniel Tove closes the puck with his skate blade. Coming to dig it out, Jake Murphy. Help coming with Shea Keating. Leahy desperately trying to dig it, falls to his knees. Florida holds the line at the point with Fortescue. He gets deeper to the zone aggressively. Owls out to the neutral zone. Finally, after Fortescue with a couple of nice keeps, Declan Catone through the legs of Ronnie Kemley. And that gets into Stabile's grasp where he'll go D to D. Left side of the ice for Jake Murphy, playing that hybrid position back out in defense officially. Around the other captain, Noah Horowitz for Florida. Now past a falling Maisie. Murphy from the high slot. Kept to the outside, thinks about a shot, and he rang the top of the crossbar. For official motion that it stayed out, here's Neuendijk. Dances, one-timer blast. Connor Lee says no. A buzzing top line. They have answered the bell. They lost some of that top six scoring ability to the Spartans a couple weekends ago. None of them got on the board against Embry-Riddle in that 5-3 loss, but as of late in this contest, they have been flying. Neuendijk with a goal, rather two in this game. Had the one with 1:15 to go in the first, and then 1 minute and 10 seconds into the second from Brady Bezier, who's got 3 points in this game now. Far wing, Likashwa can't force Biller to retreat. He'll enter. Brady Bezier with Neuendijk. That lethal line. Gave it back for Likashwa. The opposite top line now out there for Florida. Biller wanted to dangle around defenders. Cut off by Likashwa. Races to center ice and gains the blue line. Leahy in the middle. Likashwa outside. Fed it for the backhand. Pressed to the boards. Behind. Henry Bonnet is there. He'll fish for it. Finn Moore, rather, number 7 in powder blue. Neuendijk closes away from Michael Katz. Likashwa desperately trying to establish the forecheck. Quarterbacking in front for Kemley, and another break will ensue. Owls get a 3-on-1, 3-on-2 now. Bezier for Neuendijk, cut off. Calabrese with a great defensive stand. Michael Katz is behind the defense. To the net, he ranks the crossbar. The third ring iron for Florida in this game. McCoy, Cats aren't done yet. Brady Bezier, the opposite wing. Some rush chances for both sides. Calabrese misplayed the blue line, and Bezier lost handle with the puck. That top unit for FAU, fortunately, has help with their crossbars. It's offside from Georgiano. And I don't know how many times Rocco Bruno taps this post before the game, but he should do it some more because whatever juju he's got going on, it's helping FAU. This could easily be a tie game right now, 3 apiece. Michael McCoy, Michael Katz, and Keegan Lampinen have all rang the iron so far. Lampinen has the lone goal for Florida, answered 40 seconds after the opener of this period by Bezier and Neuendijk. We're off the back of the goal. Brian Pine behind, wanting the one-timer. Pat stopped by Bruno on Brody Sheets. Sent in the middle. Blue sweaters negate the chance. Pepe wants to get past Zilmansky. He's boxed out. Georgiano comes in to help as those two fight for it. Up at the points. Kept onside by Ziemba. Deeper, Zilmansky chases for Florida. Up but not out. Cuccia holds it, takes a hit from Zilmansky. Almost touched the puck with his glove. Would have been a hand pass. Brian Pine and the Gators come back the other way. Brody Sheets to the net. Right pad stopped by Bruno. A follow-up by Brian Pine. And the third rebound scores. Noah Horowitz. That persistent forecheck for Florida. Owls just did not get enough bodies in front of the net like they have most of this game. And the Gators all of a sudden are within one after that 3-0 start by Florida, or rather Florida Atlantic. 13:43 to go in this period. Unofficial time of the goal, 6 minutes and 25 seconds. 27 seconds rather. So with all of that going on, Owls right back into the attack. Raton Keenan gobbled up by Connor Lee. And in the fast-paced start we've had to this game, feels a lot opposite what we saw with these two sides in game one. You could have thought Florida would have an effort like this in the second in that game one, but FAU was able to stretch the game out with a couple of unfortunate penalties by Florida. They scored on the power play a number of times. David Ross had the first of his career. Brady Bezier had two. And Jake Murphy a couple as well. It was just a FAU team that capitalized on all 6 of Florida's mistakes in that game. A lot closer than the score indicated, but you're seeing some of the persistence that Frank Pasquale talked about with his group. He said they just feel like they're never out of a game. Such a good team, top to bottom, a great program led by Pasquale, Frank Cervicillo, Michael Paramucha, a national championship squad, national championship leadership program that now in ACHA Division II has higher goals. It's going to be a long road to nationals. Raton Keenan wanted to dangle around defenders, and he was poke checked. Finn Moore is back to retrieve at the red line. Worked over by Michael McCoy for Lickeshwa, and too much smoke on it for Michael Katz. That bounces to the Zamboni doors. 2 Owls come in to close the angle. Keenan and Murphy deep behind the zone. Finn Moore. Lickeshwa worked over from the puck. Turned over. Owls can't get it out of the zone, can't possess long enough. Jake Murphy is there for it to collect, as now the Gators will retreat and get their defensive structure positioned. Long saucer connects to Raton Keenan to the net. Saved by Lee. Florida got caught puck watching there in the tall body by Raton Keenan. What a feed by Jake Murphy to him. Raton Keenan is 6'6", 205. By far the tallest player out there of any skater on both sides of the ice. Transferred from UNLV, ACHA Division I. He was a national champion with 14 games played for the Skating Rebels. Daniel Tove off the face-off draw. Another quick save by Lee, and Gators have been very quick to get stops on these face-offs. Remember, 28 seconds into this game, Brady Bezier snapped one home right off the draw. Shea Keating to dig in again. Florida this time wins it from Brian Pine. Horowitz will sky it out and will trickle all the way down the ice. Icing is motion by Bruno. It never gets to the red line though. Turned over. Brian Pine wanted the slapper. Fortescue holds it in from the far blue line. This is Finn Moore. Whoa, look out, going up top. Daniel Tove caught the head of Noah Horowitz, and he's roughed up. The captain for Florida's got to go to the bench. Scary collision. Owls back on side. 3-0. Tove to the net. Lee made the stop once, twice. Rebound, scores! Shea Keating. The sophomore out of Manasquan, New York, with a rebound chance of a lifetime given up by Connor Lee. 4-2, FAU erupts this packed house at Boca Ice Arena. Daniel Tove, after that scary collision with Horowitz, Owls got an odd man break to the net. Keenan didn't finish it, but Shea Keating made sure to so. We're listening for the assist. Not sure if Keenan gets a secondary on that. But the Owls, as they're going to accidentally ice this puck, Neuendijk didn't touch it on side, have one. And this is impressive considering that they were stymied with this top unit. I mean, Shea Keating was one of 3 goal scorers that you don't typically see on this Owl squad during their 5-3 loss against Embry-Riddle. Him along with Emilio Stabile and Leon Biller were the ones in that contest. They've only had one penalty on either side. Here come the Owls. One man knocked down, Biller to the net. Saved by Keating, looking for his third in as many games. Neuendijk cut around defenders. Gets pushed through by Maisie. Denny at the red line. Banked it off the boards and gave it right back to Tommy Ziemba in the Owls zone. At the point, held on possession by Bezier. He's got 3 assists with that guy, number 25 in powder blue, Neuendijk. Michael Terry fights hard with Leon Biller. Lampinen, we'll give you an update when we can about Noah Horowitz. Gator fans, we know he took that scary collision. A flying Daniel Tove, looked like he hurdled Horowitz at the red line. Minutes before that latest goal. Blocker saved by Lee. Tie up at the far boards. Terry dug out. At the point, Murphy kept it deeper through Calabrese. Now Denny. Georgiano takes a bump with him. Pepe has it. Some open ice. Drops it off for Murphy to the slot. Takes one on Lee, and he'll gobble it up with no rebound. 9:04 to go. Action-packed second period. 28 seconds in. Bezier. And then 1:15 left in the first. It was Jackson Neuendijk. Another goal to start the second by the transfer out of Canisius. Keegan Lampinen and Noah Horowitz followed that up midway through this second, and the latest one on a rebound chance for Shea Keating goes. Owls, keep you in mind, these are all even strength goals. They are still without a power play chance in this game after they fought off 3-man advantages by the Gators in the first. Likishwa dumps it out of harm's way, and back to retrieve it will be Declan Catone. Georgiano races it after Zelmansky. It's been mostly Florida possessing this second period, but it's turned over. Cuccia fin on his own backhand. Last year's player of the year in men's Division 3 as a big collision happens with Pepe. Cuccia knocked over his man and Katz. Here comes Murphy with a snapshot by Georgiano that goes wide of goal. A race ensues. 3-on-2 if the Gators hurry. Katz stops, waits, shoots, and Bruno makes the stop with his pads. Sprayed to the far boards, up and held onside by Zelmansky. Katz just has to backhand it deeper as he was hooking backhand. Stabile settles this bouncing puck down where it's free for a racing Jake Murphy. Murphy can't get around Zelmansky. Owls are changing. On comes Ronan Keenan, the big body forward who connected with Murphy on that latest stretch pass that wouldn't go. Oliverio takes a tumble. McCoy frees the puck up. Seafelt in a battle for it at the red line, and we've got a whistle. And looking for a signal from the far linesman. .748 to go. There's a number on the board. And is this a too many man penalty? Owls only have 2 players on the ice right now. Here comes Leon Biller and Neuendijk. So it is a penalty. I was motioning earlier, I was wrong about a too many men penalty, but this time the official came in to count this one. It's a too many men penalty on FAU, and it will be the 4th power play for Florida of this game, but they are 0 for 3, unable to hold that puck in as Michael Terry. A rare too many men. We saw a couple of those when they lost to Florida 3-1 in their second game of the season. That was back in late September. Calabrese from the high point. Right side, calling for it. Lampinen back for Pine. Snapped one over top of the goal. Off the stanchion glass behind. Calabrese from the point. Looks towards the net. Elects to go right side for Lampinen. He has the opening goal for Florida. Trying to tip it in tight was Terry, and it fluttered to the near corner. Neuendijk, turn around, dump in. Calabrese in and out of his glove. Will allow Sheets, once Florida gets back to the neutral zone, to tag up onside. Sheets gives it for Brian Pine. Far wing, Calabrese. Left wing side, carried by Fortescue. Younger brother Jack of Will, right side, Brian Pine, rather Lampinen fan on the one-timer. And shorthanded, here comes Leon Biller as the team is changing. Long shot is tipped by Calabrese's stick and goes out of play. Brian Pine, although I haven't said his name too much, I was visited by a talent on FanDuel Sports Network, Florida and Son. Craig Minervini, his son Max, is refereeing this game. Max Minervini, 5th of 6 games today that those two, or rather him, Max, has reffed. And Craig was gracious enough to say hello to us, Owl TV up here. Of course, Craig, a long time member of the Sunshine State, originally around the New York area. Has been featured on the Miami Marlins broadcast, Florida Panthers games formerly, and did radio for a couple of games as well. Over there in Pantherland and Sunrise. Michael McCoy from the Boca Ice logo. Dances around Catone. The main conversation point about Minervini is we were talking about Brian Pine, number 13. He's a dog. In tight, Michael Katz couldn't handle that feed. Mishandled the puck. Thinking about a one-timer was Fortescue. Horowitz, left side of the ice. Tipped wide. Bruno didn't know where that puck was. It's still loose in the low slot. Michael McCoy sends a shot wide. Off the end boards, calling for it up top as well. Officials whistle this play dead. Florida's wondering why. The net came off its moorings. Last point I'll make, even though he's not on the ice, Brian Pine, number 13 for Florida, out of North Broward Prep High School. Played with some really talented guys, likes of Noah Horowitz, Horowitz and Craig's son, Craig Minervini's son, got to play with over at Cypress Hill High School. But nonetheless, Florida, 4th power play of this game, goes all for naught. Ronnie Kemley stops on a dime around Murphy from the high slot. Liam Denny wants to get after the puck, and the Owls do a good enough job at the far boards. Danced around, dumped behind by Lenny. Into the hands of Declan Catone for a moment. Daniel Tove races up ice. And Stabile sends one into the pads of Lee, who takes a shot after the play. And some more shoving in the far corner by Daniel Tove, jawing at Zach Selmansky, number 5 in white. Linesman will separate him for now. Daniel Tove, of course, went to the box early in this game for a rough. Or rather, I'm sorry, for a holding, but he's been in a couple of scrums. He is the de facto enforcer on this Owl team, the junior out of Maple Grove, Minnesota, the alternate captain for FAU. And Powder Blues today going from left to right. They'll have Tove take the face-off with 5:04 to go in this second. Owls win the draw. Cycle from high to low. Stabile there. Right wing knocked off the puck by Zelmansky. Got a turnaround through the blue paint. Maisie hops on top of it, just a dump out. Ziemba will race back to the red line, and that forces an icing. Bit of an errant one by their Florida Gators there. It seemed like Zelmansky maybe thought he didn't have as much time as he thought originally to carry the puck out before he would have got any type of pressure. Nonetheless, Owls won't complain about it. They'll get another draw. It's a soft win, but Ronnie Kemley gets on top of that. They're past the defense for now. Skates around David Ross, falls to one knee, however. Tove will take the puck back over after he lost that latest draw. Long stretch pass, knocked down by Terry. He wanted to connect with Emilio Stabile. Gets onside anyway, waiting for help. Tove to the net, backhanded off the side of the goal. Fortescue out after it. The youngster up for Brian Pine, the dog, as Minervini mentioned. dancing around defenders. Pad stop by Bruno. Out of the bench, Calabrese takes possession at the red line. Will absorb a check by David Ross. Handled at the red line. Turn around. Lampinen unable to hold it in that time as Calabrese in a race for it with Nieuwendyk. 2 goals in this game. Fights him off. Biller's there with him. Nieuwendyk takes it himself to the net. And a shot goes wide off the barely part of the upper stanchion and netting. Boy, Nieuwendyk going for the hat trick there. That would have been his second of this season. Had one against the Hurricanes on the road in Coral Gables a number of weeks ago. 7-4 victory. That was a comeback fashion as well. Bezier looking for his second off the faceoff. It was blocked on the skate by Fortescue. Lampinen poke checks Nieuwendyk. That forces the puck out to the neutral zone as the Let's Go Owls chants begin. Big crowd on hand tonight. It's Greek night. And boy, have they ever showed up in support. And now the M3 teams in Tampa and FAU have trickled into the building. So we have a packed house in Boca Ice Center. Leon Biller wanting to knock the bouncing puck down. It's ultimately Sheets who jumps on the puck, races up ice. Left wing side, kept to the outside. Wanted to cut in, and he's defended well enough. Good job by Shane Keating that time. Turned it over to Horowitz. Good to see him back out there. And tied, they score! Lampinen set that up perfectly. Trickling by the low slot. None of the Owls could clear it out. Leading the line is Brian Pine, and it's 4-3. The leading goal scorer on the Florida Alliance AAA Hockey Club, 44 points. He had 23 goals a season ago and has 8 points, make that 9 on this season for the freshman out of Parkland, Florida. And that one, another chaotic goal that Bruno really can't do much about. His defense, not much help in front of the net. They try and feed it for Katz from Lickeshwa. And that went through the skate blades of the junior out of Weston. And now FAU somewhat on their heels, but a 3-on-1 nearly develops. Pepe and deeper for Georgiano. Third line out there for FAU. The captain Horowitz off the bench for McCoy. Soft lead pass connects. Jake Murphy races left wing side. Past one defender, now 2. Zelmansky keeps him to the outside enough. Absorbs the poke check, now 2 from McCoy. Frees up Pepe on the far wing, back for Catone! And a block down by Horowitz. Michael McCoy jumps on that loose puck. Fluttering bouncer into the grass of Lee, and a little bit of shoving for Zelmansky. He's been to it with Daniel Tove earlier, and now jawing with Georgiano. Time of the goal, 17:04 for the Gators. Their third of this one by Pine, assisted by Lampinen, who's got 2 points in this game, a goal and assist. So Noah Seafelt, Jason Seafelt rather, wins the draw for FAU. They would love another last-minute goal here. They had one with 1:15 to go in the period from Bezier to Nieuwendyk a frame ago. James Mazey absorbs a check by Keenan and Kuchia. Kemley now gets shouldered by Bonnet. Calabrese fights Seafelt. He'll shove him over. Bonnet, some big collisions going on in the Gators' end. Seafelt bounce the puck near corner. Bonnet unable to hold the blue line, will dump it in. The Owls will have to come out. That will allow them to make a line change as Stabile and Keenan get to the attack. Keenan backhanded it to nobody in particular, and now he's going to go off with the rest of that second unit. 1 minute to go in the second period. Banked off the end boards. Stabile jumps on it. Didn't have enough help to get an attack as Keating is in there with him. He'll bank it off the boards past 4 defenders. Calabrese sidesteps a check. Maisie with Denny. Upcoming with Keating. One of the 3 goal scorers for the Owls. 32. Puck's pinned up. Daniel Tovis not moving an inch. He's going to force Maisie and a Gator to free it up. Calabrese will not dig behind. If this holds, there will be a whistle at some point. Officials tell him to move it. They do now. That was as long as 20 seconds. Another tie up. Gators just trying desperately to defend this puck. They want to prevent a buzzer beater. Murphy, Keating, Kemley to knock it free. 6 to go. Held on side by Tove. He's got one last chance. Far wing. Team tells him to shoot it. He doesn't, and that will do it for 2. An action-packed second period, 5 goals. Keegan Lampinen, Noah Horowitz, and Brian Pine make it closer for Florida. But FAU's Shea Keating has the loan of the period for them. And I can't count. That's 4 goals, by the way. Correct myself. What an effort by the Gators, though, to make this a 1-goal game. You're not going to want to miss any more of this one. We'll have an exciting finish coming up next in 15 minutes' time. You're watching FAU and Florida for the first of 3 this weekend on Owl TV. Third period awaits us in this College Hockey South Division II matchup. Florida out of Gainesville at 5-2, 1-0 on this young season. Taking on FAU, 5-4, 1-0. Two 5-win teams. Devin Serra riding solo with you. Our producer, Mitch Liswith, with a quick game recap for you here. Brady Basier scored 28 seconds into this one. Went the entire first without another before Jackson Neuendijk potted one behind goaltender Connor Lee with a minute and 15 to go. They went to the break 2-0. Then Neuendijk scored in the first 2.5 minutes with Basier again. So Brady Basier, 3 assists, or rather a goal and 2 assists. 3 points to his name in this contest. The Gators had something to say about it. They had 3 goals in this second period from Keegan Lampinen, Noah Horowitz, and the latest, Brian Pine, on a rebound chance. Shake Keating, the other goal scorer for Florida Atlantic. The big story for this one is Florida Atlantic's hot start. They were up 3-0 in this game. They were pressuring the forecheck well. They killed off 4 penalties on themselves. Florida, of course, 0 for 4 on their man advantage. That's been a big part of their defensive structure. They blocked a lot of shots and helped Rocco in some instances, but the rebounds have gotten past the junior netminder on a number of other times. Meanwhile, Florida, they have got to negate some of the breakdowns defensively. We saw a couple of rush chances, odd man rushes for the Owls in that second period, and they only scored really on one of them. That was from Neuendijk's 2-on-1 with Basier early in that second. But Florida really had a better period, both shots and puck possession wise. 11 in that second, 8 in the first. Shots are 32-19 in favor of FAU. To tell you a bit of more of the story, Leon Biller has it back for the Owls. They'll go from right to left in those powder blues with the red buckets. Florida in those blue and white sweaters. And the Gators with Michael Katz want to get it out of harm's way. Neuendijk pursues him well. Leon Biller, poke check by Likashwa. He gets it deeper to the zone, however, for Brady Basier, the speedy forward with 2 assists in this contest. Leon Biller presses a man and gives it to Jake Murphy, the hybrid defenseman. We saw him on that top line to start the year with the likes of Ronan Keenan and Brady Basier, but as of late, they've broken all those guys up. Had Murphy play with the top and second line more times than not. Oliverio at the red line, is blue line rather, unable to hold it in. And it's Brian Pine who jumps on that loose puck at neutral ice. Blaze Pepe pursues him to the offensive zone. Goes Pine, poke checked by Murphy, allows Pepe an exit on the far wing. Oliverio does enough to get around the defender, but it's dumped back in by the forward for Florida. Lampinen past one defender. This is Jake Murphy, and one thing that makes Jake Murphy such a versatile player is the fact that he does play this hybrid role. The Peabody, Massachusetts junior. Look out, Lampinen, as Bruno makes his first nice stop of the period to the applause of this big crowd at Boca Ice Arena. Murphy had 7 goals in their national tournament run en route to the national championship title, all-conference first team a season ago. And you just look at his assists from a year ago, 25 in total. He's more of a puck distributor than he is goal scorer, and that's just the role that Christian Long wants him to play. He's a main puck carrier. He would have 50 points if he was on any other team, possibly in College Hockey South, next to maybe this Florida team in Tampa. But he's one of the leaders that Christian Long expects to lead the charge, and they're going to need him in a big way down the stretch, as this is the final one of the first semester for both these teams. FAU will not play again until January time. Far wing side, James Mazie unable to find room on the wraparound. Almost had 3 bodies on the short side post. David Ross bounces the puck off the boards past Michael Terry. He's in after against Mazie. Pressed him to the end boards. In there is Leahy to fish out the puck. It's pressed up for now by Ronan Keenan. Delayed penalty coming up here on Florida when they touch. Bruno goes to the bench. On comes Neuendijk for 6-on-5, but Calabrese possesses, and that will be the first of the game for Florida. And motioning off the ice, number 44, and James Maisie. It's for cross-checking. First man advantage for the Owls. They are keeping Florida 0 for 4 on their power plays tonight. And all their goals have come on 5-on-5, even strength. The tale of two sides is that Florida's power play really hasn't generated a whole lot of offensive sustained zone time, at least the last two. Let's see what the Owls do here. Brady Bezier with Jake Murphy. Murphy, left side for Nieuwendyk. Snapshot, scores! Nieuwendyk for the hat trick! "15 seconds into the power play, and the transfer, NCAA Division I from Canisius, has his second 3-goal game of the season. And I don't think any of these fraternity students know hockey that well, because they would be flinging their hats on the ice if they did. It's Greek night here at Boca Ice Center, and Nieuwendyk gives the Owls the 2-goal lead back. It's 5-3 with 17 minutes to go in this hockey game. So Mansky, big hit laid out by Biller. But just as he did that, Nieuwendyk couldn't carry it out of the zone, and they're actually going to give a penalty here to Biller against Zelmansky. Owl fans don't like that one. It's roughing on the captain for FAU. So just as they capitalize on the only power play chance for them, they're going back to the penalty kill for the 5th time tonight. Owls are going to put Oliverio Ziemba along with Declan Catone, who's a really good killer for them this year. Catone in 3 in powder blue. And they're actually going to motion all these guys off. So never mind, you take off one of your best killers and you put out Jason Thander and Blaise Pepe, the youngster, against Liam Lickeshois, Michael Katz, Fortescue, Horowitz make up the blue line. On the far wing, it's Michael McCoy. Fortescue, Michael Katz, fanned on the pass in front. Oliverio breaks him up. Held on side by Fortescue. Left wing swing for McCoy. Back for Horowitz. One more time for McCoy. Quick shot goes wide from Horowitz, the captain. Fortescue thought about one, got it deeper for Lickeshois. Quick movement, left side. Bruno to challenge, and he makes the stop through the legs of Michael Katz. Poke back up top for Fortescue. McCoy gets deeper. Katz in the middle, and that one's fought off with the knob of the stick by Bruno. McCoy in deep from Lickeshois. McCoy thought about a shot, fanned on his initial attempt. Thander pressed him for Katz. Passed it to nobody in particular from the end boards. Is collected by Lickeshois. One more for Horowitz, left side. McCoy back for Fortescue off the outside of the goal. It bounced into the blue crease, and Bruno got his left skate on the puck. 50 to go in the power play. Lickeshois, Horowitz to the net, and Bruno's got it under his right pad. And Florida fans, if you are counting at home, that's the 4th time in this game that Florida has hit a piece of the iron. The word you might use is inopportune, snake bit, whatever the case may be. Florida is right there to pot another on Rocco Bruno. They have scored 2 on him in chaotic sequences like that. Brian Pine and Lampinen want a call. They're not going to get one on for holding. Brady Bezier and Murphy shorthanded. Break out to the offensive zone. Murphy to the net. Snaps one past the far post. Allows Brian Pine back with Lampinen. Lost handle. Michael Terry off the boards. Will leave it for Calabrese to play behind his goal. Calabrese races over the Boca Ice logo. Short feed for Pine. Looks towards the net. Backs up for Lampinen. Now Terry. Left side for Calabrese. Looks the puck. Looks at the net. Lampinen waiting for the feed. Past his stick. Collects off the boards. Deeper for Katz. Left side. Calabrese. Blocked by Baser on the wrister. And that is it for the power play. 0 for 5 are the Gators in this game. And out of the box calling for it was Daniel Tove off the bench. And he could not receive it in time. That snapshot goes past the left corner of the net. Lampinen from Neuendijk. Tove re-enters. Tove can't get around one defender. He's got help, though, with Emilio Stabile. Out comes Shea Keating, one of the 4 goal scorers for FAU in this game. The puck gets past him and will race all the way towards Bruno, rolling on edge. Oliverio to collect. Big 3-man collision in front of the linesman at the far blue line. Henry Bonnet, or rather Finn Moore, desperately wants to dig the puck free. He's got help with Shea Keating, Liam Denny, and Hemley, or rather Kemley. Daniel Tove fights through Kemley for the moment. James Mazey keeps the Owls deep to the trapezoid. Now they'll spread out. Puck's tipped. Another big collision. Bodies are flying in this game. First of 3. We'll see if these two sides can sustain that this entire weekend. Florida already dealing with a banged up roster, but they're having to fight their way back in this one. Down by 2 goals. 13-15 to go. A slapper by Stabile off the boards. Trickles in on Connor Lee. Allows his team to make fresh line changes. As Shea Keating is replaced with Ziemba, Cuccia. Plays Pepe. Gets danced around. To the middle. Michael Katz to the net. Wrister goes wide. Michael McCoy. Deeper for Katz. In front for Linkeshwa! And Bruno with a great stop. Boy, how about Rocco Bruno's ability on some of these one-timers in this game? He hasn't faced a lot of trouble, but when he has, he's been dynamite as ever. The junior netminder out of Pennsylvania. 2-time reigning goaltender of the year in men's Division II, College Hockey South. He's going to have a tougher time this year getting that award, considering he's lost a couple of his latest starts and given up 5 or more goals in 3 of those. Another 2 of them. Excuse me if you listen back to this, Rocco. Michael McCoy for Calabrese. Back for McCoy. Went through the legs of Georgiano. Fortescue. Left side. Calabrese! And Bruno was ready from left to right to make that quick whistle stop. And Ziemba gets in it with Michael Katz to the applause of the Greek Life staff here at FAU. And great support on both sides. Lots of Florida fans up here on the balcony. You could say this is a rivalry, perhaps even more than Tampa right now, as Kuchia's jawing at somebody going back to the bench. Former player of the year in M3 last year. That M3 Owl team will play, and the inclusion of this one with Tampa M3, the number 3 team. That's a lot of uno, dos, tres number there. Number 3 in the country. That M3 team needs a spark. They had a tough loss in the College Hockey South Game of the Week on November 2nd against Lynn University. Jake Murphy rimmed around the boards. Fortescue towards the net on a fortunate tip from Michael Katz. And again, Bruno says no. The thing about Rocco, he can make those first stops. He is usually quick enough to get across for rebounds. The only way that you beat Rocco Bruno more times than not is if you take his eyes away. Because as short as he is, he does such a good job with his vision. And his players know when to clear the lane for him, allow him to see pucks, and when to help him out defensively. They've had a tough night at that a couple of times, but Ronan Keenan and company, as of late, has helped him. As the best defense is offense sometimes. And vice versa. Fortescue back on side around Declan Catone. He gets decked by Ronan Keenan to the far boards. Another big collision with Catone. Keegan Lampinen from the boards. Florida fans want a call badly for that hit from Ronan Keenan. They wanted boarding. It's not coming. Onside is Ross. Fed for Murphy to the net. And stretching out the right pad was Connor Lee. And he'll cover that puck up. 11:21 to go in the third. And Florida fans are still screaming at the official from center ice. And I believe that was Cormac Terry who got roughed up by Keenan in the far corner of FAU's end. We appreciate you all watching around Greater Florida, the country, maybe international, wherever you are, for this M2 College Hockey South game. A lot at stake for both sides this weekend. Owls are 1-3-1 in division play to the 2-1-1 Gators. On the loose puck is Moore. The freshman connects with his junior captain in Biller. Forward and ahead for Neuendijk. It's closed off by Terry at the boards. He'll fall to the ice. Oliverio from the boards dumps it back in. It goes through the skate of Zelmansky. Fluttering puck towards the low slot. Cleared out by Zelmansky. Fighting off Biller. They'll connect D to D. Out comes Brian Pine, one of the 3 goal scorers for Florida in this game. Zelmansky enters the zone. Sidesteps Biller. Now a man in the middle. Shot towards Bruno, never got through Oliverio. Bezier takes the puck free. Off the back of Biller, allows the Gators to keep it. Lampinen can't find the puck. Now he does. He'll cycle back up top to the point for Pine. Or rather Terry dances around one. A second shot past the right post of Bruno. And the Owls with a fortunate bounce. Leon Biller has one man to beat outside. He'll fall to the ice. Bezier helps him out to the net. And Connor Lee fought him off from the trickling puck and cleared out by Terry. Now the opposite way. Alone comes Kemley. Boxed out by Ziemba and Bonnet. That's a freshman in Bonnet. Doing a great job preventing the fire. Kemley. Race to the trapezoids. Steals the puck away. Wanted Maisie racing from the left wing, and it's broken up by Keating. Out of the air. Unable to hold the blue line was Horowitz, but allows his forwards to get reset for the moment. Collision at center with Kemley and Bonnet. Back is Horowitz. Good to see him okay after he took a big collision in the second from Daniel Tove, hurdling him before a goal by the Owls' Shea Keating. Tipped to the red line by Kemley. That prevents the icing if it would have happened. Jake Murphy with 9:27 to go in this hockey game. His team has the 5-3 lead. We're getting late here at Greek Night on Boca Ice Center. Here comes Murphy. Right wing side stops. Pressed by 2 men to the boards. Denny flung it out of the zone. Piece of equipment. Looks like some tape is down on the ice in the far wing. Official doesn't see it yet. We'll skate over it, so that tells me it's fine. Onside comes Maisie for Florida. Back up. One-timer blast by Horowitz. Missed the far post. Likishwa taken down by Catone. Had the right arm over his neck area, and they're going to give holding on the Owls. So they are going to send Catone to the box for that. Catone looks like he's clutching his right hand. Seems to be no worse for wear. This is going to be the 6th man advantage for Florida tonight. They are 0 for 5. Linesman picks up that tape that was sitting on the ice. So here we go. Holding call. Can the Gators cash in finally? They need one with 8:42 to go. Can't win the draw. It's Tommy Ziemba to clear at the length of the ice. Connor Lee will softly touch it with his stick and leave it there for Jack Fortescue, the freshman out of West Nyack, New York, brother of 2 other defensemen. His brother Drew is a junior defenseman at Boston College, a 3rd-round pick in 2023 by the New York Rangers. His other brother, Will, plays for the Tampa Spartans, their M Division II team. Noah Horowitz holds the point in. Looking for the tip from Likishwa. It went wide. Fortescue collects for Likishwa. Looking at options. Left side of the ice. closing the post was Bruno for the stop. Fortescue pressed by Thander, gets around him, wants to go to the net. Thander sticks with the play and does a great job to push the puck out to neutral ice. Wanting to race up ice. Here comes Michael Katz. Poke check by Kuchia allows Jake Murphy some room. He's got Neuendijk with 3 goals in this game if he wanted him. Missed the pass as Horowitz cut him off on a shorthanded chance. 52 to go, and the Gators' 6th man advantage tonight. Michael McCoy to the middle of the ice, left side, on Bruno, in and out of his glove, and great help on the back end by Henry Bonnet. Leon Biller. The Owls don't clear the zone, but they clear the front of the net. Barton Pine, and another block in front by Bonnet from the passing lane. What a shift for the freshman. Michael Terry holds the blue line. Past Calabre's stick. Katz loses an edge, allows Murphy to jump on the puck, and he'll send it the length of the ice, and that might just do it for this Florida power play with 15 to go in it. What a shift. Henry Bonnet cleared the lane as Bruno made the initial stop and then blocked that passing lane. Out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, the freshman from DeMatha Catholic Prep. Lampinen couldn't tip it towards Bruno, and that is it for the 6th man advantage. That's all for naught for the Gators. Part of the story of this game, drop pass in tights towards the net, trying to flutter it short side was Nick Oliverio. Just missed the net. Jason Seafelt fluttered over his stick. Brian Pine is on the puck. Leahy banked off the boards for Lampinen. Pine with a goal in this game skates wide. Right pad stop Bruno. Lampinen, the lone forward, deeper. Help coming with Pine, presses Ziemba. Digging it out was Moore. Got it for Jason Seafelt. Now Ross over the opposite blue line. Ronan Keenan, dump and change for Ross and company. And FAU showing a defensive formation. They're going to put 2 guys back. And we'll see when we get down to that time when head coach Frank Pasquale has some decisions to make in net. Blaise Pepe absorbs a check. AZ jumped on the far corner. Wouldn't go. Oliverio gets rubbed out by Lampinen. He'll find room with the puck. Low slot, drops it for Maisie. At the far wing towards Bruno, in and out of his glove again. But as it trickled off Oliverio's skate, Moore took exception to Lampinen and Brian Pine. And he's gonna jaw at Lampinen. Finn Moore. The youngsters for FAU have shown up tonight. When you're leading like that, 5-3 against a scrappy Florida team, I guess you're allowed to jaw a little bit. Florida fans to our left are so frustrated with the officiating. Power plays. I wouldn't say give, earn them. It's a 5-3 score with 5:13 to go in the third. Frank Pasquale might want a timeout here. Gators need a 5th man on the ice. They only have 4 out there right now. And they'll motion Michael McCoy off the bench. Junior at a Lighthouse point. Mixed Florida roster. Here's Liam Denny off the face-off. Pepe couldn't jump on it in time. Gators. So Mansky boards Oliverio, and that is for sure a penalty. And that might just be a killer for Florida. He, off the face-off draw, raced it after the puck that trickled to the far corner, and not much Oliverio can do to defend himself. Well, sends Mansky off. Owls are 1 for 1 on their only men advantage tonight. And they scored 15 seconds into it from Jackson Neuendijk for the hat trick. Neuendijk, 2 goals. End of the first, beginning of the second, and then the latest to start this third period. And the only goal of this frame so far. So with 5:03 to go, draw to the left of Connor Lee. If you're Florida right now, you've gotten down the hatches, and Nieuwendyk and company for FAU, you've got a chance to seal it right here. Face-off win at the point, right wing side. Trying to win their second in as many games. It would be the first time they've won back-to-backs in over a month. The last series sweep came against Miami, 14-0 and 7-4 victories on September 26th and 27th. Lost those 3 games to Tampa, 2 of them blowouts, and then lost one to Embry-Riddle in the battle at the beach. Nieuwendyk thrown off the puck by Fortescue. Owl fans want to call for that, none coming. Leon Biller races out with Nieuwendyk, back on side, has a hat trick looking for 4, stops, tried to shoot one on net, and he was negated by Calabre's good defensive stand. Bruno out of his net to play it. Owls reset their forecheck. 120 in the man advantage left. Here's Jake Murphy. Skates around Lampinen. Drops it for Nieuwendyk. Ronan Kanan for Bezier. Bezier calling for it right side of the ice is Murphy. He'll switch places. Shot towards the net, tipped through by Nieuwendyk wide at the half boards. Owls Murphy gets it back, top of the point. Looks to the net, now left side for Nieuwendyk. Wanted it for Biller, and it's stolen by Calabres. With Lampinen on his left side, Lampinen through his skates, backhand back in front, and knifed away by the stick of Bruno. Leon Biller against Calabres, and Keenan enter the zone, far wing, stay on side with Murphy. Bezier left it for Murphy, right side to the net. Sharp angle, try wouldn't go, and the mask comes off for Connor Lee as the puck hit him in the shield. That'll stop play with 3:25 to go in the period, this game, and 23 to go in the Owls' second man advantage of this contest. Just joining us, Owls had a 2-0 lead heading into the break, led 3-0 2 minutes into this to the second, and then Florida came storming back from Lampinen. Horowitz answered by the Owls' Shea Keating. One more on a rebound by Brian Pine, and finished with the hat trick on the power play was Jackson Nieuwendyk to begin this third period. Gators are 0 for 6 on the man advantage in this game. A big story as to what the score is in this contest. And the Owls trying to go 2 for 2 on the man advantages. They have not had many as of late. On the face-off draw win, Georgiano's out there, second unit. Calling for it was Catone. Eventually it sweeps all the way around the far boards, and that will do it for the man advantage. Out of the box comes Zelmansky for Florida. He'll go straight to the bench, replaced by Michael Katz. Skating wide with it was Kuchia. Up top for Tove. In the middle, Georgiano, give and go. Wrap around, try, they score! And that will seal it. Daniel Tove. The junior out of Maple Grove, Minnesota, alternate captain, comes up huge. And the Owls are going to walk out of here with their first wins in succession since late September. This Greek life staff, IFC and Panheld, for layman's terms, that's fraternities and sororities, banging the glass. They were treated to a great one by the Owls. The fourth different goal scorer of this game, as Tove joins Brady Bezier, Nieuwendyk, and Shea Keating. Michael Katz, the Gators are going to fight the final 240 of this contest. They were in this game. The bounces did not go their way, to say the least. They rang iron 4 times in this game. Were 0 for 6 on the man advantage. and at times had some defensive breakdowns that led to odd man rushes and goals for FAU. Ronan Keenan dances around, toe drags. Connor Lee is down in net as players go crashing into him. Let's see if Lee is okay. That was a scary collision. He went leg to leg with an owl in front and David Ross. Connor Lee is still sitting. He seems to be okay for now, and now he'll jump to his legs. And for Frank Pasquale and this crew, you can walk away saying we had our spots, and for being a banged up group, they sure competed. FAU needed a game like this. It's been a really rough go for Christian Long. That top unit, Jackson Neuendijk, emerges perhaps the best game of his young Owl career comparatively. Had the hat trick against Miami as there's a blocker save off the faceoff by Lee. But against this caliber of opponent, him and Bezier connecting on 3 of the Owls' 6 goals was huge. It's a pad stop by Bruno. Ronan Keenan back on side. We'll give you the final numbers at the end of this game. Assists are a bit of a premium, so you'll have to join us tomorrow. Appreciate all of our volunteers at FAU. Here's a shot towards Connor Lee. That's fought off. Down on one knee is Henry Bonnet. Ryan Pine alone. He's got one of the 3 goals tonight for Florida. As we got a whistle, and look out, Zelmansky throws down Henry Bonnet way behind the play. Officials will separate those two. And if you're Zelmansky, alternate captain, that is a tough spot to do that. You do not want to pick up a game misconduct. They're going to send Bonnet to the box. Zelmansky threw him away. Now what does Zelmansky get here? Because he threw down the young Henry Bonnet with a heap. They're just going to put him in the box, so we're going to get coincidentals to end this game. Officials would have to assess the validity of the throwdown. Essentially what I'm saying is they would have to argue a case to throw him out of the game and then the one for tomorrow if it came a disqualification, but they're not going to do that, so they're going to create. Everybody's going to. It's going to be 4-on-4 with 1:28 to go in this game. Rather 4-on-3, I believe. No, 4-on-4. They left a number on the board for Florida. There is not a penalty here on Jack Fortescue. So we'll get 4-on-4. As Zelmansky and Bonnet will sit for the rest of this one. Shea Keating wins the faceoff. The Owls, with this win, are going to improve to 6-4-1-0. 2-3-1 in division play. They'll have a chance tomorrow. Here's a snapshot. Goes over the top of the crossbar from Blaise Pepe to get back to 500 in division play. And with this loss for the Gators, they'll be at 2-2-0. Or rather 2-2-1, excuse me, and then 5-3-1-0. So the race for the top spot in this division closes. Remember, Florida had the win and tie against Tampa in comeback fashion 2 weekends ago. And so the division is wide open for layman's terms. But FAU, with this sputter they had, they came in dropping 4 of their last 5. They're going to get this win. And their first win against an M2 division opponent since the first game of the season against this Florida team. Brian Pine skates to the middle. Shot goes off of Catone and out of play with 14 seconds left. We appreciate you all watching here on Owl TV tonight. And yes, I do see you in the chat. Hello, fellow Michigander, Sarah Denny, if you're still listening. Been down here a year now, I have, and It's been fun to be involved with this FAU program, a national championship program. Even better to meet all of the staff for our College Hockey South. And this Florida program with Frank Pasquale. We'll do battle again tomorrow and Sunday, but tonight is the night for the Owls. A 6-3 win. They beat the Gators for the second time this season on Greek night. And for the first time in a month and a half, they have won back-to-back games. And Rocco Bruno will keep that puck. And the handshake line ensues. Final goal scorers of this game, with the game recap ensuing for FAU. A hat trick tonight by Jackson Newendike. The story, two of them even strength. At the end of the first and the beginning of the second, both were assisted by Brady Baser. Finished tonight with a goal and 2 assists. He had the opener. Followed up by Shea Keating. And then Newendike finished on the power play early in this third period, and the wraparound by Daniel Tove was the last one. 3 different goal scorers for Florida. Keegan Lampinen, Noah Horowitz, and Brian Pine. Unofficially, Keegan Lampinen, a goal and an assist in this game. And Connor Lee takes the fall in net. Unofficially, in my regards, his first loss in net. And final shots coming in now. 40 for the Owls in this game to Florida's 33. Rocco Bruno picks up a win. The first time we can say that in a couple times. Back-to-backs. He had the win against Lynn, but that was an M3 opponent. He had a tough series against Tampa, and great to see for the junior netminder going off the ice. And all players, some from Florida, more from FAU, will gather at center ice for a prayer. And as they do that, we're going to sign things off here for tonight. Also mention the special teams. 0 for 6 Florida was in this game. They have got to clean up the power play heading into tomorrow. Frank Pasquale's group will have adjustments in that regard. Owls finished 1 for 2 on the man advantage. We'll wrap this up. Coming up next is FAU M3 taking on the number 3 team in the country, Tampa, on the other side of 30 minutes. Thanks for watching this presentation of M2 Owl Hockey. Final score, FAU 6, Florida 3 as we sign off. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night, everyone.